Aye. Tell him.
Ep.1, see them.
Aye. Again. Look. Welcome to the youth, it's the voice of us. It's about to go down, have trust in us.
Come and see the positive realities. Welcome to the show. It's time that we gotta speak up.
Good vibes, no hate, we all like a family. We're heading for the top, so don't get
Come
mad
and
at
see
me.
the positive realities. Welcome to the show. It's time that we gotta speak up.
Welcome to our very first episode of Among Them, a PYF podcast series. I am Rad and I am joined by the digital ambassadors. This series is run by young people for young people, and we'll be hosting discussions with a series of guests from varying professional backgrounds to explore the different experiences they've had to get to where they are today. So let's get started. Today we are joined by Koby Posty Hagan, founder and CEO of GRM Daily. Welcome, Koby.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to help, man. I'm here to help you guys. So I'll try and tell the story as best as I can. And do you guys know I'm Giggs' manager, Buck?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on FaceTime. Say hello to him.
Oh
my day.
Oh my lord.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my days. Oh my
Oh
days. Oh my
God.
days. Oh my days. Yo. keep coming in. Coming, pal.
No way.
Oh.
He's got a new film out. It's called The Essence. You should check it out on YouTube. It's proper good.
Yeah, bro, I've been watching that.
You've been watching it, yeah?
Yeah, I've been.
That is mad.
Yeah, it's talking to the kids.
Yeah, man, we love that, man. What's that? How's it all going?
Well, we just started, Buck. So I'm on the phone when we
Oh, is it
finish.
just started?
Yeah,
Okay.
literally. Yeah.
Right.
I'll give you a shout back. All right, cool. All right.
We'd like to start things off here with a quick fire round to get everyone talking. So we'll start with some word association, which basically we will all say a word and then you'll say the first thing that pops to mind. The goal being do it as fast as possible.
Of course.
So I will start. Clout.
Attention seeking.
Money.
Cash.
Producer.
Cons. Hill.
Goals.
Happiness.
Success.
Achievements.
Violence.
Not following Corona guidelines.
Drill.
Youth.
Celebrities.
Instagram.
Music.
Rap.
Family.
My daughter.
Now we move into like the main portion of the podcast, which is just us asking you questions and then you giving us your honest take. So I'll be starting, and what is your views on how music is taught at schools?
Well, I haven't been to school for quite a while now. 18 years ago, maybe I was in school. Yeah, I remember when I was in school, it was like music lessons and like, I don't know, I kind of remember them trying to teach you how to play the piano. I don't remember like being given like the freedom to like make music what you think is music kind of thing. It was just like, it might be different now. That's why I'm letting it be known when the last time I was in school was, but we weren't really given the freedom to make our version of music or whatever we thought music sounds good. So, I mean, if they haven't changed on that format, then it is quite old school because, you know, music has taken so many different forms now to what people consider music. So maybe that should change if that's still the same way it's taught in school.
You probably be this questions over and over again, but you just need to give us something more than what we've seen on the internet, on social media and stuff. So who's Koby Hagan?
I'm just a big music fan. I'm a huge rap music fan. And when I was growing up, that was most of the stuff that I was interested in. I loved listening to people's stories, listening to music, people's journeys, listening to people that didn't live in the UK and was in America or were in the UK or wherever they were. I just love music a lot, you know, and I feel like I wouldn't be in the position that I am in without that love of music, because that's what gave me an understanding of my profession, because I understood music. I feel like at one stage in life, I was probably the biggest UK music fan, which led me to being who I am today. And I don't think I would be if I wasn't at some stage in the whole wide country the biggest UK music fan. Because if I wasn't, I don't think I would have taken the actions that I needed to take to be able to get me into this position. Because not was I just a consumer, but I wanted to do something. I loved it so much that I wanted to do something about it. That's who I am.
You joined Silver Bullet and Big Agency in 2012. This must have been like a game changer for you in terms of like expanding your music company. How much did this help you, and what was this part of your objective?
For us, the best thing that came out of that situation really was just learning how to be a business kind of thing. Because, you know, being a business is a business of its own. Like, we don't really get taught that in school. You know, having money is a business of its own. We don't really get taught that in school. It's stuff that you get to learn about in the future. Just being fans of UK music, or just having the biggest YouTube channel in like for rap music or whatever, yeah, that's all sick and everything, but what does your business look like? That was a good thing to do at the time, because it explained to us a little bit more how business works and how business operates.
Would you consider yourself a businessman?
Well, now most definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Initially, I wouldn't have called myself a businessman, because I didn't know enough about business to. I mean, I did business, don't get me wrong. My definition of business, I guess, is just trading goods. Like, you're doing something for me, I'm doing something for you. That's business, right? Whoever got the best out of that deal's the better businessman. Do you know what I'm saying? But that's at a very like natural level of what we understand as business. But there's so much more to it, like having staff, like delegating tasks, you know, having an accountant, having a lawyer, just like so many different things that you have to learn like gradually. It doesn't all just come to you at once. Do you know what I mean? So
Would you want that to be taught at schools?
I'm shocked that it's not taught at school. Maybe people that went to university and studied business have an understanding of it, but I think there should be like a little grass level roots of understanding that when you're growing up. Because nowadays, you know, people have the opportunity to set up businesses while they're in school. You know, there's no reason why not. I mean, we've all got the internet and stuff like that. So, you know, times have changed where I think that kind of knowledge is important and helpful.
Posty, obviously there was like a whole series of events resulting in governments banning drill music.
Yeah.
So I want to know what's your personal opinion on this certain genre.
My personal opinion is, I'm not like somebody who listens to drill music in my spare time, because I'm a little bit past that age bracket. Do you get what I mean? But when I was younger, older people necessarily felt that way about grime, or when I was younger, older people felt that way about just rap. Does that make sense? So I feel like drill is the culture of music that the youth wants to make, and that's the music that they like to make. And I think that if it's done in a creative way, then it's a good thing, because it's at least giving the people the opportunity to create artistically. I think where it does cross the line is if there's personal attacks or real life situation that antagonize things that are actually in the track. So if somebody had an altercation with somebody yesterday and brags about the song the next day, that's obviously not helpful or useful to anybody. Do you know what I mean? Or glorifying people's deaths and stuff like that. But that is not the majority of drill. Like, a lot of drill artists do, you know, like in rap music, when I was growing up, you know, people would talk about like the invisible man. And when I say that, I mean, like, even if it was like, you know, even if like there's a violent reference in the song or whatever, they're not talking about somebody specific. They're just creating a thing and their reaction to it or whatever the case may be. So it wasn't like a personal attack at somebody specifically. And I feel like there's a lot of drill out there that is just like that. And I'm okay with that kind of stuff. I'm just not really a huge fan of like glorifying acts of violence that are true and laughing at people's downfalls and stuff like that. I just don't believe that that's helpful to our community. But in terms of an art form and an expression and creatively, I think it's a good thing. So it's a bit of a balance. The same conversation that's been had about drill music has been had about rap music, it's been had about grime music. This conversation is not new. Like, this conversation has always happened. It's just happening now because now it's not called rap directly, it's called drill. So it's like something new to attack and discuss. If I make a song now and I'm feeling creative and I'm being artistic and I'm expressing myself and I'm talking about violent things or whatever the case may be, you know, music is an art. So if I'm not dissing somebody directly or whatever, I think that that's cool because that's the type of music I grew up listening to. You know what I mean? And I grew up listening to rappers like The Lox, D Block. You would never know these people, but they're extremely hardcore. No one says hardcore no more, so I'll look moist, but don't watch that. They're extremely like they're super graphic. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But I never listened to The Lox and thought, oh yeah, I want to drive down the road and shoot somebody just because they talked about shooting all day.
If someone tries to violate you, then obviously a violation is a violation, innit? You get me? But it's up to you if you want to retaliate or react to it.
What would you say has been your biggest obstacle in reaching success, and how did you overcome it?
Success is continuously having obstacles. That is how you become successful, and that is how you maintain success. You know, like when I was younger, I thought, oh, like you make a certain amount of money and you don't have to worry about anything ever again. Like your life is just happy, you're just chilling, everything's fun, it's always sunny. Like that's not really the case. You know, success is constantly overcoming obstacles. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they don't tell you. I think the best way to face the hurdles is knowing that once this hurdle goes away, things will be all right again. And just understanding that hurdles sometimes, most of the time, are short term and they're tests. That's what kind of makes life interesting. How are you going to get away with this, or how are you going to get around this? It's not just money that you count as success. There's other things that you count as success, like still being able to do what you do, still being a leader in the field of what you do, trying to make an impact. All these things play a part and parcel to what success is. So I think just knowing that life is just constant obstacles and accepting that and willing to push through and just keep going is what success is.
I mean, with that, what would be like the biggest thing you regret?
I don't really regret anything, to be honest with you, just because everything that happens is that's the thing about life. Everything that happens is a learning experience, is something to learn from. And if it doesn't break you and makes you stronger, I know that sounds very cliche and you've probably heard that before, but it is actually the truth, you know. If Nadir did something to Selassie and he was taunting him and, you know, cussing his mom, or this is just an example, guys, no offense, just making an example. Selassie, maybe the next example I'm going to make just to balance it out. But like, and I'm just giving you an example of regret. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like 10 years ago, if you send me that video, I'd be like, oh, this is sick. He's cussing him. It's so funny. Let's put that up, blast it off, send it to everyone. This is going to get so much views. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Nowadays, I'll look at that and I'll be like, this guy's being too disrespectful to this person. This isn't positive. So the things that I would have been doing 10 years ago might not have necessarily been contributing to the benefit of our community, and it wouldn't have been contributing to the benefit of like what's right and what's wrong. Does that make any sense? So I feel like that's just an example of not regretting things, because it is life is a process of learning anyway. So there's no point regretting stuff. As long as you're still breathing and alive, you can always do better for yourself and learn from experiences.
So what pressure do you face as a CEO?
A lot of pressure. I'm the face of my company, I'm the face of my business. I'm responsible for feeding 10 people a month, and those are the staff and my team. I'm responsible for setting an example. I'm responsible for setting a precedent. I'm responsible for setting rules. I'm responsible for making sure we get paid. Where does it stop, mate? You know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure.
With COVID, we've all got like a lot more time to do more things. Is it still the same as before, or do you have more time to do something now?
Yeah, of course. I got a lot more time to spend with my family. Got more time to cook and clean. Just like no more human being stuff. To be honest with you, and the way I've been able to get through it is just really seeing the positives. So focusing on the fact that I've never had this much spare time to actually spend time with the people I actually care about. Do you know what I mean? And
I wanted to ask, what do you look out for when it comes to new talent? So say if there was like a young artist like trying to get your attention, like what would you want to notice in that certain young artist?
so if people around you like your music, it probably means that you've got something going on. Once you get to this stage where there's like record labels involved and all that kind of stuff, they like, if you've got good music and it's pretty decent, they can make you and contribute to making you like big and stuff like that. Does that make sense? But they don't necessarily do that unless you kind of showing that you've got some sort of following or some sort of interest around you. And then people want to jump on the bandwagon and be like, oh my God, you're so sick. Let's do this, let's do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from still, but is there like any like key points that like you would want to see like in a artist that you would say, oh yeah, this artist is good, yeah, I want to sign him?
Yeah, so it depends what kind of artist it is. If it's a rapper, is what he's saying authentic? Like, is he making all this stuff up or not? Is he coming from a certain background or not? Okay, cool. If he's not talking about that kind of stuff, what's he talking about? Why is he talking about it? Is he talking about the ladies? Do the ladies love him? Is he good looking? Like, like whatever the package is, where's it coming from? Can they rap? Has he got a good flow? Has he got a nice dress sense? Does he look good in clothes? Like, like just the basic things. Can he make a good song? Does he have any substance in his music? Like just little stuff like that.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
That's really helped me personally as well, because obviously I'm a young artist myself. I'm trying to be out there, and just knowing that it's an honor for you to say that.
Yeah, you just need to be true to yourself. So as long as you're true to yourself as an artist, then you're always going to be, and you're good and you keep improving your craft, then you've always got a chance in making it in music.
Like, I'm never going to rap what I don't live. Obviously, whenever I rap, like, obviously, I'm going to rap about me in it. I'm not going to rap about some next story that I'm doing. And that I'm not the life I'm living. I think that's what most people do. You get me? So obviously, if you're going to stay true to yourself, then obviously that's how you know you're going to get places. Because then people will just point out, or like, you're not living this sort of life that you're putting in your song. You're lying to your fans, your audience, and you're lying to yourself as well, which I think is a big downfall.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
What about you yourself? Do you intend to like pursue music or?
Me? No way.
Just shut that down immediately.
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm behind the scenes, man. Just because what I do now is what I am. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I'm probably the best rapper on this call, but that doesn't mean I want to rap. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yo.
Nah.
It's the truth, guys. Don't be upset, man. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? It's what I do.
Can I just ask, like, what made you want to start a GRM in the first place?
I was such a huge fan and a big fan of UK music.
Yeah.
That was really why I started it, because I wanted to help amplify how big UK music could be. Because at a time it didn't feel like it was getting enough of support or had a platform that would show and highlight how good it was, really. That's why I started it.
Did you expect it to be where it's at right now?
Yeah, I expected it to be at high levels, and it was at high levels straight away, but obviously every high level is relative. It was a high level then for what was happening in the world then, but obviously now it's completely different. So making change is actually finding whatever it is that inspires you and that you're like super interested in, and mastering what that is. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I can say that I contributed to making a change in UK music, but I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't such a big fan of it, or if I didn't understand it. Does that make sense? And when I got to understanding it and it matched my interest in it, I was able to step out and say, you know what, I want to do this. And because of my understanding, expertise, and love and passion for it, I was able to actually contribute to a change because I cared about it that much. So I feel like when people genuinely care about things and actually care about contributing or want to make something happen, that's where change really happens, because it's actually very genuine, and they actually understand what it is that they're doing and what it is they want to contribute the change to. If you look at somebody like Stormzy, for example, you know, like in his music, he's always not just showing like the gritty side of London, but he's also showed, you know, like his love for community in his music, his love for God in his music, and his love for trying to do the right things in his music. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You can tell he's a complicated artist because he's not just a typical rapper. Like, he's also got a message. And, you know, when like Black Lives Matter movement was at its height last year, he was one of the first people to put a lot of money where his mouth is, you know what I'm saying, a huge amount of money where his mouth is. And he made, you could say he contributed to making a change, because that money is going to be spent on making a positive change for Black people. But you got to remember as well, he was able to make that change because he actually, it's not like Stormzy's like this big just gangster rapper that came out of nowhere and said, oh, here, Black Lives Matter, take 100 million over the next 10 years or 10 million over the next 10 years, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's actually something that he cared about, which allowed him to make that change. And there's all the stuff he talks about in his music, for example, helped him to be the person he is. So it's just an example of how people make change and the different ways they can make change, but it all stems from caring about something.
What message would you give to the youth?
Just to try and stay positive, try and stay optimistic, because they have nothing but the future on their hands. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And
Yeah,
like, try and do the right things. All the things that people taught us was good, all the things that people told us were bad, they weren't making it up. You know what I mean? Try and go with your gut on certain things and certain decisions that you make, and always try and do the best by yourself and your family. And yeah, just know right from wrong, really.
is this coming from like your personal experiences as a youth, or?
No, that's just what I would tell my daughter. So I'm telling the youth, really. I would only give advice that I would give the person that I care about the most. So does that make sense? By making the right decisions and choosing the right company and choosing the right things that you're interested in, choosing the right things you want to do. Like, that's a hurdle. Like, I remember when I was younger, I didn't have all the trainers I wanted. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Then you got to pull out the big boys. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh my God.
Chill out, man. Fall back. Sit down.
Brother, relax. Yo, you're flexing.
No,
The shoes alone could buy my house like 4 times.
You're just picking them out like it's nothing.
I know what I'm done.
Okay, yeah. Time for the outro segment of the podcast. We've got questions from people from the PYF Instagram. We'll just go through them as fast as we can. So when I ask the question, just say a sentence that pops into mind. Best advice for a young person making moves in music.
Keep going.
Main issues you notice new artists in the industry.
Lack of consistency.
Oh, okay. If you could change one thing in society, what would it be?
Social media.
Okay. What motivates you day to day?
Life.
Okay, we have finally finished the podcast. I guess before we go, any last things to give to the youth that are watching this?
Yeah, just keep striving, do your best at all times, and find something you really believe in and care about and want to do, and you'll always be all right.
Mm. It was honestly amazing to have you here. A lot of the people here are like clawing their way just to not promote their music on here. It was truly amazing to have you.
Well, thank you, and I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me, and hopefully we can do it one day again in the future. Thank you. You too. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yo.
Welcome to the youth, it's the voice of us. It's about to go down, have trust in us. Come and see the positive realities, welcome to the show. It's time that we gotta speak up. Good vibes, no hate, we all like a family. We're heading for the top, so don't get mad at me. Come and see the positive realities, welcome to the show. It's time that we gotta speak up. What?